try that again. You can see you though. Alright, hey guys. It's Beth Jones. I'm sorry, been away. This little one, he's my son Liam, Ninja Master. He's going to be here to demonstrate something for us with the squat series. Even live. Okay, couldn't tell. Kind of far away today. So, he's out of school, so we've had kind of a crazy schedule, but I wanted to get this third day of the squat progressions in the book. I'm going to use Liam as an example of what our goals are. I'm going to adjust the camera here in just a second because this man has an amazing squat. If you have kids, look at their squats because there's a really good chance that they haven't lost their mobility that we're talking about yet. And you can see how their mechanics work and how they're able to get up and get it, down, and something that you can work towards as well. And then also encourage your kids never to lose that. And so if you have kids that are starting to school like Liam is, and his school has traditional desks and chairs, also encouraging them to find plenty of time and opportunity to squat and move after they get out of school. Sorry, our dog is making a big deal too. So, Liam, I had to bridle. I want you, can you turn sideways for me first? And then go ahead and squat. Jax, get over here. Put the dog outside. No. Okay, we're going to try this again. Alright, turn sideways. Now squat down and keep your heels on the floor. Now can you sit back on your heels when you do it? Put your heels on, there you go. So, how many of you guys, look at him, right here, stay there for a minute, buddy. You can see his knees are even together here. He has a nice straight upright body. His weight is in his heels. And he is tucked here, but that's normal. Once you get down this far into a squat, you're gonna start tucking. Now go ahead and stand up from there, buddy. Good job. Now I want you guys to try that. Flat foot all the way down like him. Now turn around the other way, buddy, and actually come back down and do your knee sitting like you were doing. So, if you have kids that sit on their knees, put your knees, can you spread your legs really super wide and that's put your butt, you can't even do it. If you have kids that do this Y sit, where their feet, W sit, they're down and their feet are out and their butt is in between their legs, you want to stop that. Not a very good, it turns off their core, it's not very supportive. If you're sitting like that, definitely stop it. Instead, you want to kind of bring your feet together and kind of be able to sit like Liam is. Okay? You can you spread your feet out just a little bit more, buddy? No, your feet at all. So ideally, though, what we're going for is that our legs are nice and hip width apart and our bottom is coming comfortably down below our feet with our feet slightly outside. Again, most of us can't do this. Now come up and then curl your toes under like you did before. Now put your knees down. Put your knees down on the ground like you did, and then sit back on your knees. Here's another one. Our kids, and as we should be able to have enough flexibility here in our feet and in our knees to be able to maintain this position. Most of us can't do this because we are so tight. All right, buddy. Oh, do your cool move. What do you want to do? Show me your move that you've been working on.
What move?
The one you showed me a minute ago.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, and then what did you do? Can you bring your knees down and come back up? What was that? That's good enough, buddy. You've earned your treat. I had to bribe them. So, we have to learn how to do these things. For me, to be able to sit back on my heels, that's not comfortable on my toes. I'm not going to be here very long, okay? Really tight through my feet, something that I need to work on. Same with our squats. So today we're just going to look at a couple of things that we can do to start moving into our squat. And you need to understand, I was talking to somebody the other day, I think it's Melinda, maybe it was somebody, anyway, doesn't matter. That these changes, we have been doing these other behaviors that are limiting our squat motion for years and years and years. And so we can't think that we're suddenly going to change them in a few weeks. Instead, we continue working on these different moves to get our squats better. And it may take years, okay? And that's okay. It's always something that we're working towards. It's something that we're being mindful of, and working that we're doing some habit change. So to start with the squat, I want you to get a roll towel or yoga mat, and I'm going to kind of see if I can move. I just use my regular computer today. Okay. So the first thing most of us have is if we are trying to go into a squat, we get kind of tender in our knees. So one thing you can do is, if we're in our good stance with our feet nice and parallel, our legs are hip width apart, is you can actually start by putting a yoga mat between your legs and coming into a squat and balancing here. Okay, so if you have tender knees, this is something that can make those knees less tender. You see I'm coming down, I'm nice and untucked, I'm not tucking under here. But I'm also on my toes, because for me to come back into my heels as I unroll my mat, I'm not there yet. My glute strength and my hamstring strength isn't good enough to be able to sit in my heels like that. So, our next step, then, we roll up our beautiful yoga mat, is, I'm going to put this down my head to get caught up, but I want you to be able to see my feet. We're going to put a rolled yoga mat or towel on the floor and put our heels up on it. So now our heels are bolstered, okay? We're still a little wider than hip width apart. Look at your feet. I want your feet for these exercises. Now, if you're doing a squat in the gym, totally fine for you to have a wider stance and have your legs turned out because you're doing a different exercise. But for these exercises, feet are parallel. Outer edges of those feet are nice and aligned. Hips or legs are about hip width, maybe a little wider than hip width apart. Play with it. And then I want you to come back, sitting into your heels and coming backwards. And slowly coming down into a squatted. Now, I still have work to do. Eventually, we really want to work on this angle being nice and straight. Okay? Hopefully coming back more into our heels where that is all the way up. And we're going to do an exercise in a minute for that. But for now, just practice coming into a squat to a place where you're nice and untucked. If you're finding yourself rolling and tucking under, and come back up, pushing through your heels. So doing it again, really coming backwards, moving our hips backwards and not forward. A lot of people do this. We want those hips coming backwards. I always call it the porta potty squat. Imagine you're in a porta potty. Ladies, we all know this. When you're in a porta potty, you stand as far away as you can get, that you don't have to put your butt down. So we're kind of doing the same thing, coming down, and then practicing this and holding it here. All right, so one more progression in this, guys. This is going to take time. As you go, hopefully you'll start being able to do less and less. So one thing you can do, if you're a gymnast and you were learning to do like back tucks and stuff, you started with a folded mat, and then you just started taking, this was me, you guys started with a folded mat, and that's what you're doing, standing back tucks, and then you would go down, and you would go down, and you would go down. Same thing with this squat, okay? So as you progress, unroll your bolster a little bit. Make it so it's not as high. Come down, okay? And then as you stand up, make sure you're not pushing up this way. Work on really pushing through the heels and standing up. All right, before I move the thing, I'm actually going to show you one other thing you can do. We can work on our squats even when we're sitting around, okay? Yoga block, pillow, bolster, whatever. You can use it to bolster yourself. Woo, we're going to go this way. Couple of them. So, if we're sitting here, I am sitting in a nice deep squat. I'm going to turn around sideways a little for you. Woo. Okay. My feet, I can make parallel. I'm making sure I'm not here or way turned out. I'm in a nice parallel stance here, but my bum is being supported by this yoga block. And I'm sorry, it's a black block on a black mat, so it's hard to see. If I'm curled under here, two things. I can put a roll towel or a half dome under there, or that's probably an indication that I need to be bolstered even higher. And so, hey buddy, Leo, will you go get the purple bolster from the other room really quick for me? Liam's gonna go get it. I have a bigger bolster, and I'll show you, but I need to be higher so I'm not coming down as far on my squat, okay? Your amount of bolstering, the height of bolstering you need, you can kind of tell by when you're doing that all-four squat. Thanks, buddy. So, when we do that all-four squat that we went over before, when you start coming under, look at the angle here of your legs. That's probably how high then you need to be bolstered. So this is a big, obviously, a yoga bolster. You can use a couple yoga blocks. You can use a stack of books. You can use a stack of pillows. But suddenly, and I sit like this a lot when I work. I'm here, and I'm being able to sit upright. I'm not folding into my squat. I'm activating my core. I'm activating my pelvic floor because I'm nice and untucked in a neutral position. And I'm working on my squat. My legs are nice and vertical here. Good alignment. And when you're down here, practice coming up. Practice sitting down. Okay, so these are all different ways that you can start working on the mobility of those hips and start making your squat better for yourself. I'm going to show you one more. This is where I said I'm probably going to have to change the angle. What you're going to need for this one, I'm going to move over to the door a little bit, and hopefully this will work. You will need, if you have a TRX or a suspension trainer, and that's really awesome for this. If not, yoga strap, belt, or even just a post. If you have a post in your house, this will work well for that. For a yoga strap, go ahead, fold it in half, tie a bit of a knot in it, and then find your door jam and anchor it. Let's see, it might be, stick it through your door jam. Hopefully you guys could see that. And you can have it a little high, about shoulder. And, oh, this one's going to be too thick, I think. Hold on. There we go. Close it so you have now a really nice steady anchor here. All right, now I'm going to adjust this again. Oh, here we go. All right. Sorry, you guys are going to kind of get my backside a little bit. But what I want you to do is hold on to the ends of this anchor with nice straight arms. And let me try to come sideways so you can see. Use it as a suspension. So I'm going to come forward a little bit because these are a little short. But do you see how I'm coming straight into this? And I can come down pretty low and keep my legs here nice and parallel. Okay? This is called a suspended squat. So we're literally holding on to this, bringing our body back and using our arms to hold our weight as we come down into this squat. Guys, if you're pregnant, awesome exercise for baby positioning and for getting ready for pushing and labor prep too. So hold that 30, 60 plus minutes. If you're pregnant and getting ready for labor, hold that up to 2 minutes because you know that those pushing contractions can go that long. You can do this while holding on to your husband and coming back. Okay? So I said TRX works well. A post that you can hold on to works well as well. So you guys one more time. So nice feet. They're even. in a line, coming back, keeping that pelvis untucked as you come down, and then using those legs to come back up. So, hopefully that helped a little bit. Kind of sideways now. Sorry. Let me know what questions you have. That's kind of day 3, the last day of our squat lessons. We're going to move on to hanging, even though I shifted. So on Wednesday, we'll start again with some hanging. And then I'll probably make up a day on Saturday or Sunday so then we can get back on our schedule again. Let me know what questions you have. Calf stretch, soleus stretch, double calf stretch. All fours prep, squat prep. Okay, the supine on your back prep. And then these squatting progressions. These are all things that you should work into your day. Okay, it doesn't have to be much. It doesn't have to be long. Throw them in a minute here and there. As I said, if you're sitting and working, bring your laptop to a table. Bring something to sit on. You're working on your squat even when you're sitting. Okay? The fact of you just remember we had that goal of floor sitting last week. So the fact that you're getting off of your chair into a position where you're untucked with more hip flexion and that you're in a nice aligned space here is going to really help you in this regard. Okay? The more that we can start working on our squats and holding them in that untucked position, the more it's going to translate up and start just naturally increasing our core and our pelvic floor strength. And if you're having any issues with that core weakness, then it's just naturally going to be ways to fit that rehab into your day without you having to sit there and always do your heel slides and your more typical rehab exercises. So it's a combination. Those exercises are needed. They are directly focused on things that you need to strengthen, but working some of these other things into your day are also extremely important if you want to go to a place where 6 weeks after, you do your PT or whatever for 6 weeks and then, you're gone, your insurance runs out, you're done, you're deemed appropriate. You need to continue working on these daily things in order to keep all that work you did with those exercises effective and working and not unraveling. All right, that's it. Gotta go get my daughter now from her school. So I wanted to fit this in really quick. I will see you guys Wednesday. And let me know what questions you have. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.